Every Tuesday night when we unveil these rankings exclusively, the chair of the College Football Playoff Selection Committee, Gary Barta, is generous enough to join us here. So, Gary, when you look at this, how big an impact was it, the disparate number of games that teams have played up to this point in the season?
Well, it's definitely a challenge. We knew that coming in. You're evaluating teams that have played 3 games against teams that have played 8 or 9 games, but we embraced the chaos and really had a really good time putting this first ranking together.
So when you say embrace the chaos, and earlier you and I talked before this, you watched a lot of video, the thing that has stuck out to the 5 of us is where BYU is. BYU ranked number 14. Why are the Cougars so low in your rankings?
Well, the committee is very impressed with BYU. Zach Wilson is definitely a Heisman candidate, playing at a high level. They've beaten 3 or 4 teams above 500. But as you look at their schedule, and that's certainly where the committee went and looked at their best win is against Boise State. Boise was shorthanded in that game. So the committee is very impressed with BYU, but certainly schedule compared to the teams around them came into play.
How difficult was the discussion, or how contentious was the discussion surrounding the 3 and 4 spot and determining Clemson and Ohio State standings? And I know you don't talk about them head-to-head, the protocol, you group teams together in larger pods, but how close was that discussion?
Well, the discussion, starting with Clemson, they've really dominated every team that they've played against, other than, of course, the number 2 team in Notre Dame, and they were short. They didn't have Trevor Lawrence. They didn't have some of their best defenders. But they've got a solid win against a Miami, 10th-ranked Miami team. And at the end of the day, the committee just decided that Clemson deserved that number 3 slot.
And the same perspective on Texas A&M and Florida, solely a head-to-head situation?
Yeah, they're both terrific teams. Florida is playing at a high level. Kyle Trask is playing a Heisman level as well. But when it came down to it, they were close enough. The only loss that Texas A&M has is to number 1 ranked Alabama. And as a committee, we just decided that they deserve to be a nod ahead.
How would you describe the impact of analytics this year in the deliberations?
Well, we have a lot at our disposal in terms of statistics, and we certainly use those. In some cases, we have to see how that's modified because of the differences in games. But I still go back to, we use the analytics. I still go back to, we have 13 experts who started at the very first game watching virtually every game, and it's definitely going to be important. Watching video is always important. But this year, probably more important than in the past.
You have John Urschel in there, who's a math guy, he's a math expert. Did he not break down a lot of analytical stuff for you guys and make you trust the math on this?
Whenever I work with a team of people, I tap into expertise. So we certainly let John kind of share with us his thoughts on the analytics. So again, the analytics are still, we're still using them. They're still important. That's one tool that we have, and then, of course, watching the games is also critical.
How big, Gary, very quickly, Pac-12 teams not highly ranked. You don't have a lot of data to evaluate right now with them. How would you describe where you think the ceiling is for a team like Oregon or USC?
Well, I don't want to predict a ceiling, but you're right. With 3 games, let's take Oregon. They're playing at a high level. They have some talented young players. With 3 games, they haven't yet beaten or played a ranked team. And so right now we had 3 games to evaluate. We put them where we thought they should be for now. We have 4 more weeks of the CFP meeting, and I'll look forward to having more games to add to that resume to see where they go from here.
Gary Barta, we appreciate your time. Look forward to talking with you every Tuesday night after these rankings are unveiled.
Thanks, Rece. Just glad to be playing football this year.
Amen to that. That's for sure. That's Gary Barta, Director of Athletics at Iowa, and also this year the chair of the College Football Playoff Selection Committee.